What is up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Flippin Bats, and we have an awesome guest for you today, Adley Rutschman, who is quickly becoming one of, if not the best catcher in the game of baseball for the Baltimore Orioles. I am pumped to bring him on and talk about his opening day this year, first ever MLB opening day, all of the hype surrounding him from the second that he was drafted, the moment he took the field as a big leaguer for the first time last year. This is going to be a blast of a conversation, and I'm excited for everyone to hear. So let's get to it now and welcome in Adley Rutschman.
It's a blowout, 8th inning, 10-3. Bases are loaded for Verlander, who waits on a 3-0 pitch. He swings, and it's a high fly ball, deep center field. It is gone! Home run! And a huge bat flip to celebrate. All right, Ben, start the show already.
All right, and I am pumped to be joined by him now, catcher for the Baltimore Orioles, Adley Rutschman. Adley, what's up, man? Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Of course, I appreciate it. So I want to start this year, your first MLB opening day. You obviously had some big league time the year prior, but opening day at Fenway Park in Boston, and all you did is go 5 for 5 with a homer. How cool was your first MLB opening day this year?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, just the atmosphere, being in Boston was crazy, and you can't really ask for anything more. It was unbelievable.
Have you ever in your career at any level had a better performance on opening day than your first big league opening day?
No chance.
So it wasn't your first big league time, obviously. You got to have some time last year coming up to the big leagues. And then I remember this moment like it was yesterday. It was a viral moment. The video went everywhere, and it was you coming out on the field for the first time. And I've always tried to in my life appreciate moments like while they're happening, but it's very difficult to do that, to know you're in a moment. Did you know ahead of time that you were going to come out on the field and soak up that moment, or did it just kind of happen as you got out there?
I mean, it was one of those things. I've had guys tell me when you get there, like, take a second, take it in, because it's an unbelievable moment. And I didn't know what I was gonna do, but when I got out there, I was like, I just kind of want to look around for a sec, like just for a sec. And I guess that's how it looked, and it was a cool moment to be able to do that and take just a couple seconds.
Was there some emotion under that catcher's mask when you pulled it down? Any tear come out?
Oh, maybe a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, it was. I mean, pretty cool moment.
Nah, it's really special, man. So right before that, obviously, you get the call up to the big leagues, and I love asking guys this that come on because it's the call I didn't get, right? Like, you play pro baseball to get that call, and I like asking guys about that moment. So for you, walk me through the moment and how it happened that you found out you were going to the big leagues.
Yeah, so we were in Charlotte, and I remember I got scratched from the lineup, and I was thinking, I was like maybe, I don't know, but maybe. And then after the game, I was kind of like waiting around the locker. I was like, please be it. And then everyone, like, it seemed like everyone in the locker room had gone home. It was like 45 minutes after the game was done, and like, guys had left the locker room. I'm like, like, it's not happening. And we were just watching the O's game because I think they were in extra innings that day. So we were just like chilling in the locker room, and then like one of our assistant coaches came in and said, like, hey, like, Buck wants to talk to you real quick. And I was like, no. I was like, come on. And then we get in there, and he's like, hey, like, I just want to say, you've got a lot of expectations, like, you're dealing with them well, and you just, like, keep going, basically. Like, I know it's tough. And I was like, this is gonna be just like a keep going talk. And I was kind of disappointed. And then he said, like, he gave me the news after that, and I was like, it took me a second to realize, and it was just an unbelievable moment. Buck Britton was our he's our AAA manager, and I've had him in AA and at the alt side, and he's just a unbelievable manager. Just to have him be the one who does it is just means so much. So
that's awesome, man. So he mentioned in that conversation the expectations, and with you, I think from the second you were drafted and until us talking right now, the expectations and, the hype around it, it was almost like I haven't seen it since Bryce Harper was drafted. That's how much hype there was. At any point throughout your career and playing or dealing with an injury, at any point did that hype get to you, or were you thinking about it too much throughout your process?
I think it's been one of those things that I've had the fortunate pleasure of being able to talk with my friends, family about,
Yeah.
and just kind of limiting the amount of like social media that I'm exposing myself to, and that I let like my friends and family send to me, because I think if you filter that and you're able to just focus on what you got going on in the locker room, your daily process, it makes it a lot easier to just focus on kind of your goals and just like making the most out of every day instead of letting those larger expectations kind of creep into like your negative self-talk.
Yeah.
So it definitely made it a little easier, just kind of limiting that.
Speaking of social media, by the way, you're great on there, but one thing I've learned is that you can't flip a bottle to save your life. That was not your best performance, I feel like.
It was not good, and it's never been a strength of mine. Kyle Stowers is unbelievable at it. So I thought they were just going to cut it out. We had a lot of time on the mic, and I thought they were just going to cut it, but they decided to post it. So, they're not making me look good. And that's I had words to.
Hey, so you're obviously a catcher, which in itself is a full-time job, and it's the hardest position on a baseball field because not only are you worrying about yourself, you're worrying about an entire pitching staff as well. So that is almost two full-time jobs in one, on top of you being a switch hitter. And for me personally, it was hard enough to try and lock in my right-handed swing, and arguably never did it at the professional level. How do you go about locking in two different swings? Is it legitimately like 50-50 of work for you, or is one side better than the other?
It's just different every single day. For me, they're two different swings, and I try to treat them as two different swings. So you got to try and balance out your workload, because you want to manage your swings. And some days right-handed needs a little more love, and other days left-handed needs a little more love. And you try and just kind of figure out what works for you on a daily basis to get your head and swing in the right spot to go out and compete.
I saw, well, so far this year, as a catcher, you've played in every game, which is awesome. Now, some DHing, obviously. But my question to you is there any chance that we're getting to 2,633 consecutive games and breaking the Iron Man's record?
That'd be awesome, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Well, we're well on our way, my friend. You're almost there.
Yeah.
So I'm interested from your perspective. I've talked to some pitchers this year, had Dylan Cease on. I've talked to some hitters as well, but I haven't yet talked to a catcher about this. With the new rules this year, specifically when it comes to working with a pitching staff, has it been weird for you? Has it been an adjustment? I know you were working with it in the minors, I would assume, but at the big league level this year, has it been tough working with a pitching staff?
Just figuring out different things about them. What specifically do you want to know?
Yeah, in terms of having to call the game, and it's kind of like a mental back and forth sometimes with a catcher and a batter and a pitcher. Has it made your life any more difficult at all with the pitch timer and having to rush a pitcher along at all, or calling a game a specific way?
Everything's felt like you got to do things a little quicker than last year, but it feels like once you get in the swing of things, I feel like we're pretty much in the swing of things right now, that everything's you get used to it, I guess.
Yeah.
So we have all of our game plans and stuff beforehand, and it's just about making sure that we allow the pitchers enough time if they want to shake, and but everything's just a little quicker.
Yeah. Speaking of quick, I read a story about you, and I need this story. Is it true that you have tackled Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah.
So how did this go about? You were kicking at Oregon State your freshman year, right? And then he just comes at you and you tackle the guy? This is insane to me. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Okay, I'll try and give you the quick quick summary. Basically, I was committed to Oregon State for baseball, and the football coach called me up in the summer and asked me if I wanted to try out because they were looking for someone to kick off. And I said I'd try out. Ended up making the team, and we're down at Stanford, and we were trying to kick away from him the entire game, but they kept switching up like while I was approaching the ball, and so kicked it to him on accident, and just tried to make a play, and spent a little extra time helping him up because it's Christian McCaffrey, and you gotta get some words in, so say what's up. But a pretty cool moment looking back now.
Yeah, that's a great moment and a great story. I feel like I imagine that being like the story of me hitting a home run off my brother in spring training. Like, you just got to tell that forever, no matter who's going to listen. Just tell the story, and we can talk about that later. Your last thing I want to talk to you about is your walk-off home run this year. And, I mean, just a really cool moment. Your first ever walk-off in the big leagues, your first ever walk-off home run. Take me through that at bat and kind of your feeling as you were floating around the bases, because that was awesome.
Just an awesome moment. I've never had a moment like that, I guess, with hitting a home run to walk it off. And so just to be around on those bases, know that the game's over, see the fireworks going off and everyone's cheering. Just one of those indescribable moments that you take with you for a long time, and be able to celebrate at the plate was amazing.
All right, well, Adley, I really appreciate you joining me. Thank you so much for your time. Good luck this year. Good luck the rest of the way. I am a huge fan of yours, so I appreciate you hopping on my show. And while Adley is heading out to batting practice to get ready for a game, he took that down in the tunnel. Wanted to thank him again for joining me. I truly believe this wholeheartedly. Adley is, if not the best right now, he is becoming the best catcher in baseball. That's how good he is. You can tell how much work he puts into his craft, and he has to do it in so many different areas. He's a catcher, which is the hardest position to play. He's a switch hitter, which is so hard to figure things out. And he's the best in baseball at blocking balls in the dirt and framing. Everything he does so well. So I really have become a huge fan of his and really enjoyed talking to him about this year's opening day and the way he goes about his business, and, of course, had to talk about him tackling Christian McCaffrey, because whenever you do that, it's like, how in the world did you do that? So I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you subscribe anywhere you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever. We're also on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and you can watch every episode on YouTube at Flippin Bats Pod for all of them. I appreciate it. Thank you all for listening, and until next time, this has been another episode of Flippin Bats.